What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Endzone, brought to you by Gym Bag Entertainment, show about football, that by guys who love football. It's your boy Craig.
Your boy Ace.
And I absolutely forgot to set the timer, so we are going to take a second to just get some time going here. And then once we get into that, we are going to talk about the injury report. We have some news. James Onvale from Jacksonville, second linebacker to go out for the season. Tell me what we think about that. How does that affect these guys?
I think it's not really affects the team, but it affects him due to the simple fact that he was trying to make that 53-man roster, or 56, whatever it is nowadays. 53. So with him being hurt now, I don't think it's a chance that he might make the team.
Yeah, I know. Being out for a season, especially if you're not they got linebackers in Jacksonville. So this definitely hurts his chances. Definitely makes him someone who most likely, out for the season and probably not on the team, hoping to get a contract next year.
Yeah, he was doing well from what I was seeing. That he was doing well in camp.
Yeah, I always feel bad for that when that happens, when a guy loses his entire season.
Yeah.
If you lose 6 games, you can come in, make a difference later on. But to have to sit down and just watch from home, it's a terrible, terrible situation. So hope for a speedy recovery, and hopefully he gets to come back next year and make an impact on whatever team he signs to, whether it's Jacksonville or another team. Next on the injury report, Antonio Brown. His foot injury is still ailing him. He's been on the sideline, and it's been preventing him and Derek Carr from developing chemistry. Tell us the effects of that.
I think the chemistry is already there.
Yeah.
After watching him a few times, it's there. He just got he's a receiver, so he runs so much. He just got bad blisters. Did you see when he posted the?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it's disgusting.
Is it?
Yeah, it's just like it's like the bottom of his feet is like paling from all the blisters that he has.
Oh.
So it's either he got to get. He's sponsored by Nike, so you got to get some different type of cleats, like maybe
some custom stuff.
Yeah, thicker sole in his cleats. Double sock, triple sock, whatever you got to do.
Maybe
but
something that releases some sort of ointment on his feet to keep his feet from getting blisters.
So,
but that's a terrible situation.
But he get grade A doctors, so therefore they'll probably give him some type of cream or something like that, and he heal up. It's not nothing major. You get what I'm saying? It's just a minor injury.
It's
so
just
it's nothing,
keeping him off the field.
Yeah, because that's your feet, and you're a receiver, and you're always on your feet. But.
Yeah, and we still have a whole month of non-regular season football for these two guys to get it together. But I do agree with you. The chemistry, they should have built chemistry already. But every day lost is a little bit of that touch.
Facts.
So let's hope for a speedy recovery. Antonio Brown is my favorite wide receiver, so I want to see him do well. Next on the list, we have Andrew Luck. He has a calf injury that's keeping him sidelined as well, and that is a big problem in whether or not he'll play week 1.
It's a big problem. Well, his is the biggest problem out of the 3 that we're talking about, due to the simple fact is just he had a calf injury last year that was lingering, and now it's lingering again this year. So it's kind of like they got to take care of it because it's going to turn into a bigger injury.
Exactly.
So I agree with them. Sit him out. Let him rest up. Yeah, as long as possible. Don't force anything more than it has to be forced. And then you let him come back, and he should be good. But he should just be treating that to get right back.
And Jacoby Brissett is definitely there to keep all the other guys warm. So I like Jacoby Brissett, man. I hope one day we get to see him as a starting quarterback in the NFL. I think it will take a little while because he definitely wasn't ready the year that he got the start. But for right now, Jacoby Brissett's probably taking the first team reps and replace Andrew Luck. But we do want to see Andrew Luck return to form. He was magic last year. Definitely had comeback of the season. So we'll see what happens, and we'll keep you updated as these injuries progress. And then finally, outside the injury report, Golden Tate has his appeal. Technically, today is Tuesday, but you'll see the show on Thursday. So Tuesday we would have Golden Tate having his appeal, and hopefully right after the show, once you watch it on TV, we'll have the results of that appeal. But I heard that it was a supplement inside of his supplement he was taking testosterone to have kids.
Okay.
That's what it was. He was taking these shots to get to make it so he could have kids, and it showed up as banned. What do you
Rich
think?
people stuff. You need to take shots to have kids.
Problems.
Like that's rich people problems.
I think he has, maybe he has a low sperm count.
Yeah,
and
but
these shots are helping.
On the flip side of things is he could say what he wants to protect himself and him getting caught up in this.
Yeah.
But come on, bro. You know what you can and cannot take. You know if you have to do that, you do that during the off season. You stop it when the season's about to start so that it doesn't affect you in no way.
Yeah.
But you was doing it, I don't know, however long. But I think he's gonna get. I don't think they're going for that. What he's saying that he's doing that to have kids. I think he's gonna get suspended. But the good thing about it is they're gonna have to make a decision in 2 to 3 days. Well, today's Tuesday, so by Friday they gotta make a decision. But at least he gets to know when he gets to come back.
Yeah.
It's not like up in the air issue.
He's not in limbo.
Yeah. So if they do say, okay, we're going to accept your appeal, then he comes back right away. If they deny it and suspend him for 3-4 weeks, at least he knows that he's suspended for 3-4 weeks, and he knows what he has to do up until then to get himself ready to go play football. So
exactly.
Or 3-4 games, not weeks, games.
I mean, I've heard it before. I remember outside of football, John Bones Jones, the first time he failed a drug test, he said it was Viagra. He said he was using Viagra, and even he still got suspended because it changed his testosterone level, and so he still got suspended. So I expect Golden Tate to get suspended, but I think with his argument, he might get a little sympathy, maybe get it cut in half to 2-game suspension, because right now we're looking at a 4-game suspension, and that is really going to damage the Giants if he has to serve that all out.
Absolutely.
All right.
They're already damaged.
So that's the injury report. And now we're going to move on to what we believe is the top 5 games to watch during the week 1 of preseason.
You stretched it to 6.
We did stretch it to 6. So game 1 for me has to be New England versus Detroit. And the only reason why I say that is because it's the Patriots, and I'm gonna watch it, so you should watch it. And this is actually gonna be a really good game in my opinion. First of all, it's the clash of the coaches. Bill Belichick going up against one of his former defensive coaches, and then Matt Patricia.
I love Patricia.
Yeah, I love Matt Patricia, and the fact that he's a rocket scientist always makes me say, wow, damn, you're a rocket scientist and decided to be a football coach. That's amazing. Plus, the last time these two guys saw each other, it was during the regular season, and Detroit handed us our asses on a plate. So therefore, New England's looking for a little preseason revenge, and we got some rookies coming out there. I think it's going to be an exciting game. What do you think?
I think it's going to be exciting too. It's preseason, first game preseason, so you're going to see a cameo of Brady. You're not going to see him too much. You're not going to see too many other starters. But I'm interested to see the wide receiver core from the Patriots more than anything, because I know they're kind of deep. So, and I know there's guys that are still fighting for positions.
Exactly.
So I want to see how that receiver core is looking, and who gets the most burn or who does what is what I'm more interested in seeing out of that game.
And we also got some new tight ends on the Patriots. They're probably going to have to show what they can do. And what I actually do want to see is Denver drafted T.J. Hawkinson. He was the number 1 tight end drafted in Detroit.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Denver.
Oh,
Maybe lost. That's
Screwing
okay.
it up. We always mess up names every once in a while. That's our thing. We bumble up. We like to say the wrong name every once in a while. And I want to see how T.J. Hawkinson does in his first preseason game. So that will be exciting as well. But then the next game we have is I don't know. I think this game's going to be exciting just because you have two teams that are very different in what they have going on, and that's the Redskins versus the Browns. What do you think? Do you think the Browns come out with all their guys just to blow it out, or do you think that? Tell me what you think is going to happen.
I think that the Browns mostly sit OBJ probably won't play.
Yeah,
he won't. Or if he does, he'll probably play a series just to go out there and show the Browns fans.
Just
OBJ, Baker, same thing. Jarvis Landry, same thing.
Yeah. Kareem Hunt might play because I know if you're suspended, you can play in preseason games. I think.
But why would you go out there and let him play?
He hasn't played football
But
in a while, and he can't practice.
It really means nothing.
That's true.
You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of like they're going to go out there for one series only. That will be that if they even go out there. Some of them might not even play, might not even dress.
Well, what about this, though? A lot of times people play people in preseason to get them trade value. Like, hey, look at this player. Come trade me for him.
But those guys that we're talking about on that team, on the Browns team, they're not getting traded. They believe Browns in their mind.
Yeah.
They believe what they got is golden, and they're going to go as far as they can go with what they got.
All right.
So I don't think they're trying to work on no trade value with nobody.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, the Redskins got a lot of players that can have big-time trade value, which is like, for instance, the quarterback position. They already going with
Case Keenum.
Case Keenum.
Colt McCoy.
Colt McCoy.
And I mean, they're not going to trade away Dwayne Haskins.
Nah, but Colt McCoy, who's they saying the starters right now? Case?
Right. Well, right now, I just saw this last night. They said Colt McCoy is number 1.
Okay.
Case Keenum number 2. Dwayne Haskins is actually number 3 right now.
So that's why I'm interested to see how them two play it out, where Haskins can jump him to number 2.
Yes.
But even though we already know they're going to have a bad year, so we really don't want to see Haskins go out there this year. We'd rather see him play next year. But preseason-wise, it's not like he's playing versus the starters or anything or big-time players. So it's good to see what he got on the NFL level. You know,
I hope they showcase him in week 1. You know, let whoever Case Keenum or Colt McCoy come out for a couple reps. But I think Dwayne Haskins needs to get his playing time in preseason just so we get to see. You know, I know you disagree with me, but I definitely thought Dwayne Haskins was the best quarterback coming out of the draft. But I do have to say, based on this assessment, maybe he isn't the best.
Yeah.
You know, Kyler Murray isn't getting dragged back. He's staying at number 1. So we'll see what happens with that.
But another sleeper that I'm looking to see, because, you know, for my fantasy teams, I'm trying to.
Yeah.
So I want to see if they're going to pull him out this game or maybe like the next game or two is Darius Guice.
Darius Guice.
Yeah, because he was tough at LSU.
Yep.
He's one of the guys that I watched.
That held him
back.
And, I think.
And there was big things for him happening over there last year before that injury happened.
Oh yeah, he was gonna until he got hurt. He was gonna be premier. There was a lot of hype around him, but I noticed in fantasy his ADP, his average draft position, has dropped, and that was because he also had like a calf strain, and he seemed to say it wasn't serious. I haven't heard anything of the opposite, so it could be exciting to see him in preseason. I agree. All right, next on the list we have Texans and Green Bay.
Honestly, I don't even have much on either team. I just want to see their backups because you know they're not going out there with the starters like that.
Exactly.
So
you think Deshaun Kaiser plays? Because I like Deshaun Kaiser when he was in Cleveland.
Yeah.
You know, he almost beat the Steelers. He was looking really good, but then they destroyed his confidence.
I think Kaiser will go out there and play for sure. I think he would.
All right.
But I just don't. Me personally, I don't know too many backups from either team. So
I don't know too many backups from either team either. Like, I think Green Bay, it's going to be mostly defense.
Yep. Defensive guys, yeah.
Yeah, and then for the Texans, I think they really did build up their offensive line. So, like, you'll see how well they run the ball. And actually, on the Texans note, a surprise to me was that they released Deontay Foreman.
Yeah.
And like last year, Deontay Foreman, if he made it to be healthy, they said he was going to steal Lamar Miller's job. Now he gets released and signs to the Indianapolis Colts.
I'm glad you said that. So for Green Bay, I am interested to see their defense due to the simple fact is, like we talked in shows before, like they have like 5 or 6 new players on their D.
Mm-hmm.
So to see some of them guys plugged in, they're gonna get some reps tomorrow just to get it under their belt. So, or whenever they play tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, whatever.
I think it might be Thursday. It's either Thursday or Friday.
Yeah. So just to see a couple of those guys play, and then, like you said, on the flip side, again, agreeing with you with the Texans, they got a whole revamped offensive line. They drafted, 2 or 3 offensive linemen, the Texans?
Yeah, I know they drafted at least, I know they drafted two
or 3
offensive linemen. I know that they drafted a linebacker and I think a safety or a corner.
So offensive line is a position that you could play in the preseason and not have to worry about nothing just to get that game speed down pat.
Exactly.
So, I'll be interested to watch what they got, some of those guys.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. Who do you have on your list?
The next one, I got Vikings versus Saints.
Vikings. See that this once again another great revenge game. The Saints 2 years ago get booted out of the playoffs by the Vikings
On the last
because
play.
on the last play because of a botched tackle. You know, in a moment like that, you know, you can't be ducking your head down. But now they get a chance to have some preseason revenge with their rookies and second team players. So this could be an exciting game, no matter what.
Football rules is number 1-on-1.
Yeah.
You can't hit what you can't see.
Amen, brother.
For any young kids out there that watch us, you can't hit what you can't see. You always keep your head up, and you always keep your shoulders square. Other than that, you can break your neck. You can do a lot of bad things to yourself.
That was the perfect thing right there. If you didn't say it, I was gonna say it.
Yeah.
You could having your head down like that man did. Not only put you in a bad position to make a tackle,
you eat dirt.
but you also can break your neck and be paralyzed. So definitely keep your head up.
But yeah, a couple takes from this game.
Yeah, do it up.
You know, the Saints ain't gonna play Drew Brees, so I want to see what my guy
Kamara.
Teddy Bridgewater do out there playing versus his old team. He was a Viking.
Yes.
I'm interested to see. I always like this guy Tyson Hill. The backup for the Saints too.
Okay, yep.
You know, Teddy Bridgewater's 2, but he's 3 but Tyson Hill plays wide receiver. He plays tight end. He plays special teams. He plays all over.
Everything.
Yeah, he even be catching touchdown passes. I think he might have had like 2 or 3 touchdown passes last year he caught.
Yeah, he's kind of like Cordell Stewart.
Yeah.
Just plays everywhere. And you know what? Now that you said it, it just reminded me. Same exact team, same exact switch. Latavius Murray.
That's what I was gonna
played
get to
for
next.
the Vikings.
Yeah.
Now he's on the Saints, and he's definitely going to be the premier back.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna be playing over it versus them. So.
And the Saints also just signed Theo Riddick.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and that's, you know what? And I can't believe we didn't write that down as something to talk about because I forgot about it. I think we probably forgot about it too. But that's an exciting addition to that team. You know, I mean, Alvin Kamara is a great passing running back, but when Alvin Kamara comes out and Theo Riddick comes in, you don't lose too much in that ability. And then Latavius Murray barreling it down the goal line. That's a strong 3-headed monster in that backfield.
And they still got a thing too, right? From last year.
Not Melvin Ingram. Not Mark Ingram, because he plays for Baltimore now.
Baltimore.
Yeah. So, but this has the potential to maybe even be game of the week for preseason.
Yeah.
So I like that. Next on the list, looking at the Bucks versus Pittsburgh. And I like this game because I think it's going to be a win reversal. I think that the Bucks are going to show out in this game. Jameis Winston has everything to prove and everything to gain. Like, it's boom or bust for him. So I think that I think he has big things ahead of him.
Yeah, and again, I don't really even know who the Pittsburgh Steelers backups are. So it's like
Jalen Samuels, and they drafted a running back. I forgot what his name is, but they did draft a running back this year. So we could see those guys get some time. And didn't they get they signed Dante Moncrief? So they're gonna want to see something from him.
Maybe not, because he could be part of the starting rotation.
He should. He has to be part of the starting rotation.
Yeah.
But it's Dante Moncrief, and he's not. I feel like Dante Moncrief has always been supposed to be special.
But who they got over there for wide receivers now besides
it's very
Juju?
It's very small over there.
So
they have not. I feel like there's going to be a lot of guys whose names you're not going to recognize even when the regular season starts.
And that's what I'm saying. That's why I didn't want to elaborate on it, because I didn't.
And we have one more team. What is it? One more game.
The New York Giants versus the New York Jets.
Yes, New York versus New York. And this should be a good game just because I feel like we don't know what's going to happen. You know, who are they? Who's the team? What team's gonna play? Quincy Anoon was hurt, so he's definitely not playing.
Daniel Jones.
Yeah. Ooh.
He'll play.
Could we see Daniel Jones play?
Yeah, because think about it. Eli's QB1. He's been QB1 all through camp.
Yeah.
So QB2's gonna play a lot and get a lot of reps.
QB3 is EJ Manuel? No, EJ.
No, they have someone, but I forget his name. And then you know, this guy, he hasn't played in a whole year, so they might even have him play out there. Bell. He might play a couple. He might
Get some reps, just
get
to
some reps,
get some football time in.
Yeah,
that
so
makes
he
sense.
can get some football reps,
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what happens in that game.
If Le'Veon Bell plays, that makes for a very exciting game. What would be crazy if they play Le'Veon Bell and that inspires the Giants to play Saquon Barkley, so it's like a battle of the backs?
Because you got someone who hasn't played in a whole year of football to someone who's
gonna be a workhorse all
so
season.
It's like
you
can't use him up yet.
Who's the backup for the Jets?
The Jets backup running back?
No, quarterback.
I don't even know.
Because McCown retired.
Yeah,
I feel like it's a name we would recognize as soon as we heard it, and we're just not thinking of it.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking of that.
Me neither.
I was just happy to hear Bell might play. That's what I was.
Yeah,
once I heard that, I didn't care nothing else. I just like Bell's playing. I'm happy. That's my focus.
So we'll see what happens with that. But definitely have a lot of exciting games for week 1. But you never know what you're gonna get in preseason because you're never really gonna get a full game of starters. All right, so now we're going to move on to a segment that I think people are going to really like, and it's Ace and Craig's Picks of the Week. We're going to give you our top 10 picks based on the spreads. AC, I'll let you take the reins and go first.
You want me to go straight down the list? Or
straight down the list. Give the matchup, the spread, and your pick.
All right, you got the Jets versus the Giants. The Giants is +1.5. I like the Jets to beat them up. Atlanta Falcons versus the Miami Dolphins. Atlanta's -3.5. I like the Atlanta to bounce back and beat them. Kansas City Chiefs is playing versus Cincinnati. Kansas City Chiefs is -3.5. I like KC that game.
Yeah.
The Bears, Chicago Bears is versus the Carolina Panthers. The Bears is -3. I had to go with the Panthers.
Nice.
On that one.
That's
my underdog of the day. Just because I like the quarterback backup. Chargers versus Arizona. Arizona's -2. I like the Chargers, another underdog. Tennessee versus Philly. Philly's -3.5. I like Philly on that game. The Cowboys versus 49ers. San Fran is -4. I'll take San Fran right there. New England Patriots versus Detroit. Detroit is +1. I'm taking New England. Minnesota Vikings versus New Orleans Saints. New Orleans -2.5. I like Minnesota right there. And that's 10. That's it.
All right.
That's my 10.
And then for my 10, I'm going to start off with the Indianapolis Colts going against Buffalo. The website I checked out didn't have a spread on this game. So no matter what the spread was, I am going with Buffalo. I think Buffalo has a strong chance of taking that game. The New York Jets versus the New York Giants. The website I checked, they had the Giants +2, but I'm still taking the Jets on that game. New England versus Detroit. Detroit's getting 1.5. I took New England. Washington versus Cleveland. Washington's getting a point. I'm definitely taking Cleveland on this one. Jacksonville versus Baltimore. And Jacksonville's getting 4 points, so I'm absolutely going with Jacksonville. I can't wait to see what they do this season. The Chargers going up against Arizona. The Chargers are getting 2 points, so I went with the Chargers as well. Denver versus Seattle, my website had no point spread available, but I like that Denver beat Atlanta. So if Denver beat Atlanta, I think they're going to beat Seattle. Tampa Bay versus Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's -2.5. So I'm definitely going with Tampa Bay. I think that Tampa Bay is going to bring the heat in this game. Cincinnati versus Kansas City. Kansas City was -5, and I took Kansas City. And then the Rams versus Oakland. Oakland's -3, and I'm going with the Rams. And I think that it's going to be funny to see Blake Bortles having to play preseason because he's the backup to Jared Goff. So those are my 10 picks of the week. I actually found out this really late, so I'm going to throw it in there, a little curveball for you. Jerick McKinnon activated off the PUP list, adding the 4th starting running back to the San Francisco 49ers. What do you think this does to the backfield? Do you think it adds? Do you think it subtracts?
Oh, it definitely adds.
Yeah.
Definitely. I saw a little video with him running around with no brace on.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool to see. But I love how Shanahan, what's his name?
Yeah,
Kyle Shanahan.
Shanahan.
The head coach. I like how he said that he was letting him do things at his pace. He wasn't forcing him back to nothing. He knows what he's capable of doing. So I'm going to let him just get his workouts in there and let him come back. So I think he goes to running back one because he has to. You gave him $30 million in 4 years, 18 million guaranteed. So you ain't leaving that on the bench.
I hear you. I personally I like Jerick McKinnon when he played on the Vikings.
Yep.
I thought he was a very good backup, definitely efficient when he came in, but I love Tevin Coleman. Like, I always thought Tevin Coleman was a starting running back. I always thought that, he deserved to be on a team where he could be the star. And I think that's going to be a really good battle between the two of those guys. But then you still have Matt Breida, who had an excellent season once everybody got hurt. And then you have that kid, Motseret or whatever.
Motseret, but he's done.
Yeah,
you might as well forget about him.
Yeah, he's fourth on the depth chart. He's not going to get any touches unless everybody gets hurt.
But you got to think about it. Coleman was a 1-2 punch in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So it's like he's used to that. So
yeah,
you got to use both of them.
Yeah, you do. You have to run the two-headed monster. You don't have to do a 3 running back by committee, but you definitely have to run these guys equally. But what I like about these two guys is their skill sets are very similar.
Yeah.
So no matter who you bring in, you're gonna get equivalent quality. So I really do like this combo of those two guys.
But yeah, you knew he was coming off that list eventually. He did his 1 year, So. And like I said, they gave him $30 million.
So they got to make use of him. Can't waste that money.
Nah.
All right, and then next on the list, this was actually I hope that you did because I definitely didn't. I forgot to, but it surprised me that this happened. Michael Crabtree turns down an offer from the Arizona Cardinals, and I think that might have been the best team he could have gone to be opposite Larry Fitzgerald with the likes of Christian Kirk.
Yeah.
I don't think that was a smart decision to turn down that offer.
Well, I think it was the dumbest decision that he can possibly make because it's like last year you get released off a team, and this year, February, you got released off the Ravens, and they supposed to have you for 2-3 years, and you already got released after one season.
Yep.
So I don't think that was a smart move. Only way I would say it's a smart move if he was planning on maybe going to the Giants and getting more money.
Or if he knew, if he knows that there's an offer out there that's better than Arizona, okay.
Or Cincinnati. But those are the only two teams really that's down.
And Washington, a team like Washington. I mean, he's not gonna make any waves in Washington.
Exactly.
I think Giants is definitely the team for him to go to.
Yeah, but it's like
Arizona. I think he would have had a chance of making playoffs.
For me personally, I loved Crabtree ever since Texas Tech. But in this situation here, after you're being released and the team offers you something out of respect to your name, because that's the only reason they had a tryout for him, let him try out and stuff like that, off of respect of it's Michael Crabtree, let's try to give him a shot. What we've been talking about the whole time, just someone give him a shot. So they respected him enough to try to give him a shot, and then they didn't meet ends because obviously you're not going to sit here and give him 2 or 3 year deal after he just got released off a 2 or 3 year deal. So the most you're getting out of me as a GM is a 1 year deal. Go out there and prove yourself, and if you go out there and prove yourself, then I'll sign you for another 2 or 3 years.
Maybe two.
Maybe two. You get what I'm saying?
3 years is a lot for a guy Michael Crabtree's age who isn't performing at the highest level. Like Michael Crabtree is clutch.
After last season, that's what got him released.
But
that was a big drop.
It was a big drop because of the team he went to. He made a mistake signing with Baltimore. He didn't make a mistake at first because if Joe Flacco was the quarterback, he would have had an excellent season. Once Lamar Miller came in, they had no choice but to Lamar Jackson came in. They had to trust his legs more than they could trust his arm. So Crabtree's production goes down. His production was up in the first couple weeks, but then as soon as Jackson came in, his production goes down. He needs to be on a team where he can get the ball thrown to him. Because if you remember in Oakland, Amari Cooper was supposed to be number 1, and it was Crabtree.
But that was vintage Crabtree. I'm talking 31 years old Crabtree, not 22, 23-year-old Crabtree.
No, it was 30 years. Like, he was only 1 year removed from Oakland.
But I'm saying that was at the beginning, kind of like
San Francisco was where he was his greatest.
Yes.
And then he was good in Oakland and then bad in Baltimore.
His production went down every year.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, he did.
So it's kind of
he has
like
declined.
he's no matter what, you've been declining, bro. A team just gave you 3 years and walked away from you after year 1.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes. No matter who you are or what you're doing, that speaks a lot of volumes if a team walked away from you after year 1 when you had a 3-year deal. Not even take a chance the second year. They was just like, you know what? But he's always had attitude problems. Sometimes people are saying that he's not a good teammate. So all those type of things. Now you send him with Larry Fitz, who's gonna keep him in line because they don't play that in Arizona, So I just don't know. And only way I would say this is a good thing is if he gets a better deal somewhere else. But other than that, he might be done in the league.
Could be. You know what would be a hilarious team for him to sign to? And I think you might even know if he got signed to Denver.
Oh, yeah.
With Akeem Talib.
Yeah. Get his chain snatched.
Yo, like, motherfuckers would be battling on the field during practice, can't get nothing done because they hate each other so much. Either that or they become best of friends.
And think about it, he's been released since February.
Yeah. All year he's been out.
February, March, April, May, June, July, August. 6 months without a team even saying hi to you. And then now this team wanted to take a chance on you, deny it.
I can't believe it.
You know what I'm saying, bro? Who you think you are after you just got released after 1 year?
I thought Michael Crabtree would have been on the top of every team's list that needed like a number 2 wide receiver or even a number 3. There was a time where I even told you I was hopeful that he would sign to the Patriots because we were really low on wide receivers at one point. Yep. And the fact that New England didn't go after a vet like Michael Crabtree, that actually surprised me and kind of made me think like, what's going on here?
There's something there with him.
So I guess we'll see what happens, but turn down the offer from Arizona. Hopefully you get an offer somewhere else, buddy, because I do want to see you play. We'll see what happens, and we'll keep you updated as the situation progresses. Next on the list is something I think neither one of us saw coming. Brady gets a 2-year extension.
You saw that coming, bro.
Nah, we didn't, man. We said that we thought 1-year contracts. From now on, just 1-year contracts is what I thought was going to happen. But he gets a 2-year extension. What did surprise me, though, even more, was that it bumps him up to only $23 million a year. Like, he ain't even close to being one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL, but he's the greatest of all time, which goes to just show you his humility to accept a contract where he's only getting $23 million.
It's not humility, bro. It's like...
He just won a Super Bowl, his 7th. If that doesn't say I'm worth $30 million.
And he's also 50 years old, so...
What? If Brady's 50 years old and he takes you to the Super Bowl, he's worth more than every single quarterback in the NFL.
Not because at the end of the day, they just did that off of respect to Brady because they already know after this year he's done. So
what?
He maybe have one.
He has 2 to 3 more years left in him.
Maybe 2, but it's like... What people don't realize is this about Brady, all right? When you go home, just Google this.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's endorsements.
Yes.
He has the highest endorsements in the league out of anybody. And
because of that wife.
No, endorsements in general. His own endorsements from Gillette.
His wife made him smart.
From Gillette, all that.
Yeah.
Uggs and all this stuff that he has.
Don't wear man Uggs.
You know, Google that stuff. And then, on the other half, Google his wife net income.
She's worth way more than him.
He don't need it, bro.
Yeah, he don't need nothing.
His home is good.
Yeah.
So he's just playing. That's why he's out there winning ball games and winning championships because he's playing for the love of the game.
Yes.
You know, and that's what people miss the point of him is that money means nothing to him. It's about the love of the game because...
and that's also what makes him so great at the game.
Yeah, but trust and believe he gets it. Like a lot of what like we always talk about. I don't know if people see this or people pay attention to what we always talk about, but we always talk about NFL contracts. And the thing about it is we be having guys with $50 million contracts, but only 22 guaranteed. This is not baseball or NBA, whereas they say $50 million, you're getting that whole $50 million.
Exactly.
No, it's you get 18 out of 50 and you got to work for that extra 32. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, people tend to forget that in football. So it's like, his money comes from his endorsements. So the best guys out there have great agents, and they have great logistics, and they have great marketing, and it's all about your marketing. So it's like,
and that's what allows him to have better players around him because he doesn't have to be paid as much.
Yeah, and then you notice Tom Brady, he's one of the most marketable people out there. Minus him as a football player.
Oh, yeah.
He's marketable.
Oh, very. Good-looking guy, tall, has a beautiful wife, great family. He's a humble dude. He doesn't, never a scandal around his name.
There's only one other athlete like that, and that's LeBron James.
Exactly.
Them two is here.
And no,
as being marketable wise, you get what I'm saying?
Yes. And actually, I almost got to say, and not because I'm not a LeBron fan.
Me either.
Over the last year, LeBron has come up over me. When he created that school, that, like, a lot of things, you always hear, like, players, they do these great things, and it's like, yeah, you got the money to do it. But what he did was beyond what money.
Sending all these kids to college.
Yeah. Not just sending the kids to college, but getting their parents GEDs and helping them find jobs and advance their education if
exactly.
Like,
people,
no athlete has done
people online, like, I know this is basketball talk, but people, like, anybody will tell you, I'm a diehard Lakers fan. But I was never a LeBron fan.
No.
But now that he's on my team, I got to respect him. But people get mad when he's cheering for his son, when he's jumping in the layup line, doing windmills and stuff at his son AAU game. What if Michael Jordan was doing that?
Yep.
People would be like, that's greatness. But since people have so much hate around him that they don't like it, and it's like, for me, I love it. I enjoy it because as a kid, I want to see one of the best athletes doing this, like, and I get to do it right here with him. I get to shoot threes versus him at the AAU game. Like, but say if he was a bad dad, oh, he's a deadbeat guy, this, that, the third. Like, no, he has the same girl that he had since a kid.
No scandals around his
all his kids was by one girl, still married, still happily ever. Like, like things like that is what the media tends to forget because they always want to do bad dirt on your name. Like we talk about OBJ. This dude pulls over because someone had a license plate with his name on it. You didn't see that?
No.
He pulls over his Phantom and signs the license plate for them. Just jump out.
What?
Like, he hasn't had no, I'll show you afterwards. He hasn't had no scandals. Well, not scandals. He hasn't had no bad blood around his name since he's been in Cleveland.
Oh, yeah. He definitely has a positive.
You get what I'm saying?
Outside of the NFL, he has a very positive light around him.
Yeah, but
I love that.
It's like you got to appreciate athletes because athletes are regular people. And so when you kind of like disrespect regular people, then they're scared of that reaction that they get. But every action deserves a reaction, and it's like, yeah, they're the greatest people on earth or the greatest athletes on earth, but they're still regular people at the end of the day, and that's what people forget.
So, yeah. So Tom Brady extended for 2 years into 2020, $20 million this year, and I think it's. I could be wrong about this, but I almost want to say next year he gets 30. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds crazy.
It's something
but
crazy.
He deserves every penny.
Yeah, he deserves. I mean, you get your seventh Super Bowl, and you get your seventh Super Bowl, and that's the be all end all.
Yeah.
Some news that I'm excited about. Trent Williams is on the trading block, the offensive lineman from the Washington Redskins. And the reason why I'm excited about it is because the two teams that are front runners to trade for him are the Oakland Raiders and my New England Patriots. And we definitely could use...
I had two other teams on there too for him.
Who are they?
The Jets and the Houston Texans.
Oh, Houston Texans could really use Trent Williams. I don't want to see him go to the Jets because I don't want them to get any better than they already are.
Yeah, that's the two teams too.
Houston
I saw that. But the thing is but I was reading that he had he was mad at the Redskins for his contract.
Yeah.
That was one thing. Another thing is he has a tumor on the right side of his head. And then it's like he don't like how Washington is handling his tumor situation or his contract. So he didn't show up to camp. They're ready to get rid of him. But he has $23.5 million base salary. But any team that picks him up, they're gonna have to pay that $13.2 million a year for him. So it's kind of like
a guy like Trent Williams, I think.
Yeah, because O lineman, he's a right tackle. So those type of guys, it's hard to come by. They're a dime a dozen. But it's like I need more information about this tumor that he got going on, too.
Any team that's going to trade for him is going to do their due diligence. They're going to say, hey, listen, we need you to go see our doctors. We need to get this checked out. We need to see what the severity is. We need to see what's going to happen. We need to see how much time you might miss. And then you go back and you say, okay, well, this situation is this. So this is what we have for you. This is what we can make happen. But I definitely think a guy like Trent Williams, especially after letting go of Trent Brown.
Yep.
You know, that, you know, our best offensive lineman, letting him go, you know, just because we have Wynn. I would like to see us maybe possibly taking that, stealing this guy away if he can come in and play right away. Yeah,
so you just got to pay attention more to that injury because you can't play around with tumors and stuff like that. We don't, you know what I mean? But
and hopefully it's, you know, it's not too serious and it can be removed without missing too much time.
But there's a lot of teams that they're gonna be fighting with to get him.
Oh, absolutely. It's gonna be who's gonna offer the best piece for him. It's gonna turn into a bid war. And to be honest with you, once you said Houston's in the running, like I feel like if they're smart, they win this fight.
Yeah.
You know, the Patriots, they have what they need. Like getting him would be a great addition, but Houston needs offensive line help. So they definitely need to make something happen there. Next on the list, we have the Hall of Fame game. So Denver beats Atlanta, and I did not watch this game.
I watched a little bit of it.
Okay, so let's break down the game for the audience.
Breaking down the game for the audience, there was a late interception by Trey Johnson late in the game. Jawan Winfrey, he scored a 15-yard touchdown and put him up. It was like a dude tipped it and he caught it.
Oh,
and
those are the best.
Yeah, against it was actually Rashad Kuzi. I want to make sure I said his name right. Yeah, Rashad Kuzi. He tipped the ball like it was in the back of the end zone, so he tipped it, but Jawan Winfrey managed to keep his feet in and toe tap and
nice.
So it was cool, but my biggest take, there was two takes that I had from this game.
Okay.
One being Schwab's terrible.
Schaub.
He's terrible.
He is terrible.
He's terrible. Like they had the Atlanta had another quarterback, Ben Kurt. He went 19 of 34 or 185 yards, setting up a touchdown and a field goal. But Schaub, he had a chance to go out there and score. They still had a chance to win this game, and they had like 4 downs straight on like the 15, 20-yard line. And he couldn't even do anything.
Wow. I've never liked Schaub. He's always been terrible. Like one of the worst backups in the league. It's one of those backup quarterbacks that make me mad that Colin Kaepernick still isn't in the NFL.
Exactly.
You know, I actually saw this thing. I just want to sidestep for a second.
Hold on.
Yes.
And my other take from it, before I forget, was there was a defense pass interference call. They challenged it.
Oh.
But the challenge upheld.
The challenge upheld?
Yeah, Denver challenged it, but the challenge upheld because you could see that he was holding them. But like live, it didn't look like he was holding them.
Oh.
But you could see when they slowed it down and stuff, you could see clearly, so that upheld.
All right, so like we have our first challenge of a pass interference
by Denver,
and it does not work out for them. But that's going to be not exciting, but interesting to see how that plays out.
Yep.
I'm glad we did get to see one in the very first game. But what I did want to bring up was that with the whole Colin Kaepernick situation, I was watching this video on the Young Turks. I don't know if you ever heard of the Young Turks. It's like an independent news, broadcast. They broadcast on Hulu and they have their own. I think they have their own website, the Young Turks, tyt.com. It's the only news outlet that I watch because I don't want to say I'm a Democrat, but I think I'm a left winger or whatever, and they follow that, but they're I believe to them to be very neutral, and they had a segment, they have all these side segments with these guys who aren't like the anchors.
Yep.
They do their own side reports, and this dude was talking about Colin Kaepernick versus Nick Bosa. Wait, Nick Bosa's the one that just got drafted. So yeah, because Joey's the older brother. So Nick Bosa gets drafted into the NFL. But before he ever gets drafted, on his Twitter and his Instagram account, he constantly likes things that have racial connotations. He constantly talks trash about black celebrities, calling Beyonce and Jay-Z trash. He liked a post that had like a noose in it.
KKK.
Yeah, he laughs about videos of black people being arrested. He likes posts of people who are on his friends page that use the N-word. So this is a guy, he's an avid Trump supporter, and this is clearly a guy who has race relation problems. He absolutely has a problem with the African American community, and he handles everything in a negative manner. Everything about him is negative. And then you have a guy like Colin, and he gets drafted. He was almost considered. We thought he was going to go #1 overall if it wasn't.
You
Kyler
thought
Murray.
so?
Okay,
I
thought so.
He's gonna get the works in the league.
But he definitely was giving the nod for a possibility, not just on this show, but in other shows. It was going to be either him or Kyler Murray going #1 overall. So you got a guy who is extremely, who has definite racial motivations, and he's going to get drafted in the top 2. But then you have a guy like Colin Kaepernick who's doing stuff for charity, fighting for the rights of people of color, not just black people.
No, just anybody, equality.
Equality for everybody. He donates tons of money to charity and has organizations upon organizations where he's just giving back.
And all that. And
exactly.
Africa, stuff like that, giving back.
Doing all this positive stuff, and because he silently protested by taking a knee, his God-given and nation-given right to protest what he believes is no longer playing the NFL, and you got a quarterback like Matt Schaub, who's absolutely terrible, who's still in the NFL, and Colin Kaepernick, who's better than probably 50% of the backups in the NFL. I'm only going to give him 50 because I know Colin Kaepernick is not the same quarterback he was, and he hasn't played football for 2 years. But it makes me feel a little terrible that a guy that good of a person and that talented of an athlete can't get a spot, but a terrible backup and a guy who's clearly racist can make it into the NFL.
Yeah, that's just the world that we live in, man. And it's tough because on this show we try not to get into it too much, but it's like everybody knows what Nick Bosa is, and people ain't gonna forget that.
No.
And they're gonna go after him every play, after play after play. With Colin, I think it was. There's still people in the league that don't like. Think about it like this.
Yeah.
Let's rewind the tape a little bit. We've been watching football our whole life.
Yeah.
So back in about late 90s, 2000s, the teams didn't even come out for the national anthem.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So why wasn't all these teams fine? Why it wasn't bigger than what it is? So that's number one thing. Nowadays, there's still like Army and Navy taking knees, supporting the cause. There's still a lot going on there, whereas, it's not about what he's protesting, it's about who he is as a man. You get?
Yeah.
And they're trying to kill that man's character because he never once said anything racial or anything like that. He did that silent protest by talking to someone. He talked to Army veterans, and they were the ones that told him to do that.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? It's like, don't be disrespectful. Don't sit in the locker room. Just silently do your thing.
Yeah, because the first thing he did was sit down.
Yeah.
And then he talked to a vet, and the vet said, if you want to be respectful, then I say take a knee.
Yep.
So how do you ask permission from a vet or advice on what to do?
And the vet was Caucasian too.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that.
And he wasn't the only one. It was multiple vets together, but this was the one vet who was interviewed. And this guy said, I told him, if you want to be respectful, then take a knee. So how do you then turn around and say, even though he was told by a vet that this is what you should do, that now he's disrespecting the military? This is just saying we care so little about equality in America that we will bash you for standing up for your people and find a way to make it evil, even though it's not.
And the crazy thing that it is like, he's about equality. Equality for the people.
Yeah.
Whether you're white, black, blue, orange, whatever color out that crayon box. It's equality for the people.
Yep. Treated the same.
Bosa is not for that.
No.
He's for that one kind.
Yep.
And it's almost like damned if you do, damned if you don't type. And it's kind of, and you look back on things and what I respect is like what Ed Reed just did. Oh, you didn't watch it. Hall of Fame game.
No, I didn't.
He had like all that Hall of Fame game. He had in his Hall of Fame speech, he had a shirt with all the people who got killed by police brutality on it.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
And that speaks volumes because it's like, as an athlete, seeing what all minorities go through, all people go through. As an athlete, you have that stage to do it on. And that's what I really like about LeBron James. Like, he used his stage to help the people. It's not about black or white people. It's about the people as a whole, like
people who don't have and giving them opportunities.
Yeah, because it's like, if you read some of these stories and you get involved in it, it's like, come on, they didn't have to do that.
No.
Or they didn't have to do this.
No.
Or why did this happen?
You don't have to do anything.
And in this world, it's kind of like, you're scared to raise kids in this world because you don't know what's going to come about, And it's really sad that the things that our grandparents and great-grandparents and, even for the white culture, their grandparents and great-grandparents who had to escape, now it's all coming back.
Yeah.
To where it's like, like,
no,
there's nothing.
It's a terrible thing.
Yeah, there's nothing cool about that, and that's why I always try to stay away from the race issue because I got white people in my family, black people, Spanish, like.
Oh, I have.
You get what I'm saying? All the whole work.
The whole rainbow.
So it's like, yeah, we got the whole Skittles. So it's like, when people talk about this, it kind of irks me both ways because it's like, be a part of the solution.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? Exactly. Like, what are you doing to be a part of the solution?
Yep. I think that a lot. I always think it's about being part of the solution. I always say that, like, on both sides of the fence, we all contribute to our problems. We do have racial equality in America, but we also have situations where people create racial equality. Like, in certain circumstances, you have, if you do things a certain way, it won't go the way it shouldn't go.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you got to take responsibility for your own actions. But at the end of the day, you gotta feel like no matter what you look like, that you're safe. And I feel like there's too much. I feel like we're tricked. I'm sorry to my audience, we're here for football, but we got into this conversation, and actually we don't really have any content left, so I'm glad that this conversation came up that we can end the show with, is that, like, life's supposed to be about love, and there's way too much hate and separation in America.
Absolutely.
And it's intentional. You know what I'm saying? It's meant to be that way so that you don't do what you don't make what happen what's best for you. You make what happens what the people up here want to happen. They give you these directions to go into, and we follow it. Even though we think we're not following it, we follow it. And until, we come together as one and stop hate, it ain't never gonna, you gotta say, let's not focus on the people who do negative things. Let's not even give them their 15 seconds. Let's just only focus on the positive. So that way, maybe if you focus so much on positive, that people, because everybody wants attention.
But it's tough to focus on the positive when so much negative is happening around you. So,
true.
like, as
It's
much as you
hard.
want to believe something, 5 things negative will happen to your one positive. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's how it was for me in college. For me in college, I had some guys that was on my team that I knew was racist. But what did the minorities on the team do? We always invited them to things. We never excluded them out because as a football player, you have a brothership. You have a bond that you have to build.
Yeah.
So you could be out here doing whatever. We're still going to help you. And it took certain situations for them to understand, like, oh, these are my brothers. They're really here for me. Like, race doesn't mean nothing. And And it's tough because it's like.
But I see that. I see that as a perfect example. What I'm saying, you guys, instead of focusing on their negative and allowing
absolutely.
yourselves to be negative because of their negative, you focused on a positive. You kept the positive attitude, and eventually, like, you swayed these men into believing that they could trust you and that maybe their views on you were wrong. They might not change their views on all people of color, but you individuals now believe in.
Because I'm from Lynn, whereas you can walk down the street right now and see 10 different races
within a block.
Within a block radius, you can see 10 to 15 different races.
Yeah.
You can't say, oh, they're Spanish. Like, no, what are they? El Salvadorian, they're Mexican, Dominican, Puerto Rican. What are they? Because every race has its own thing. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, you can't say, oh, he's black. No, what is he? Haitian, African? Like, you get what I'm saying? So that's how I always look at people, like, oh, where you from? Or whatever like that. And that's like my startup conversation. I just don't assume anything on anybody.
You can't.
You know, and being from Lynn, you learn a different lifestyle. You learn to love different. You know, like, you don't learn to hate. You learn to love different. And that comes back from being from the city of Lynn. And that's why I'm proud to be out the country. Wherever I go, I always say, where you from? I'm from Lynn, outside of Boston. You know Massachusetts? You know Boston? I live in a city outside of there.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's like, I'm proud to say I'm from here. Like, you know, like,
it's a nothing
bothers me because
especially when it comes to sports.
Yeah, it's proud, you know, and it just teaches you like I told you, it teaches you to love more than to hate. And it's like the thing where people go wrong is like part of our Pledge of Allegiance. That's why they took it out. Think about it. They don't even do it in some schools now.
Yeah.
Because when they say justice for all, there's no justice for all.
No, there's not.
There's just justice for some.
Yeah.
You know? And I remember like, and this is a crazy story, bro. I remember being at Harrington Elementary School. So, like, you know, growing up, you know, you want to do things to get suspended from school, you know, like that. So I was like, let me sit down for the Pledge of Allegiance. Just to be a knucklehead. You know, I did it.
Yeah, you just
did it.
And
then I got suspended, and I came home to my grandmother, and she's like, what made you do that? I was like, I don't even know. She's like, and then she actually, like, broke it down to me, like, some feel that minorities don't have that justice for all. Some people feel like that they should take that out, you know? And then I'm just thinking, like, man, I'm 32 now. This is when I was about 8, 9 years old. And now you can go into school, and they don't even have that no more.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like, some things that we did, we was ahead of our time, and not knowing that we was ahead of our time, you know? And I remember going to a sports game and always feeling like I can look in the stands and see my grandmother. She would never stand up. She would always sit down. And it's not that she hates the American race. She just don't believe in what they're saying.
Exactly.
You know?
And that's a big thing. I believe that as well. I don't believe in what America as a whole stands for anymore, because we don't stand for that. It's definitely about money and power, and, you know, without, you know, we've been diving deep into this topic, and I just think that, you know, there's no more love in the country amongst groups of people, and the fact that we could have more, like, together we could have more than we have apart. But you have the people who really control the country are people with money.
Yes.
But there's more people without money than there is with people with it.
Yes.
But unfortunately, we're too busy hating each other and trying to, you know, one of the things I always talk about is that people always try to force their own agenda on everybody. You believe something, and I believe the opposite. That should be it. It shouldn't be me saying, no, what I believe is actually right. You should believe that, and you saying, no, what I believe is right, and you should believe that, and us thinking that the other is wrong for trying to convince them to believe what we believe. Like, what? Like, you can't say that someone's wrong for trying to convince you to believe them when you're doing the same thing. And that's on the left and the right side. The left side's always saying the right side's wrong. The right side's always saying the left side's wrong. But you believe what you believe.
And that's it. You just gotta stick with your beliefs. And
if you don't believe in hate, then you're not wrong. I think for the most part, if what you believe is not hate, it doesn't hurt, and it's not, you know, violent.
I don't believe in hating somebody. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't believe in that. But I believe in self-hate, which is a parent can teach their kid how to self-hate themselves in order to hate everybody else around them.
Correct.
But I don't go out here. I don't have anybody that I hate. I help take my shit
Maybe
off my
Trump.
back. Not even Trump.
I hate Trump.
Because on the flip side of things, I just think he's an idiot for some things that he's saying. He should stay out the media.
Yeah.
I hate that he tweets all the time.
Yeah.
But I love that I can look at my savings account and stuff like that, and it goes up because of the stock market and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying?
I've never felt anything like that.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying? If you look at if you got a 403 retirement plan, sometimes you look at that, or a Roth IRA, things like that. Like, if you got those type of things, sometimes those things will skyrocket. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Off the strength of his bad decisions and his bad moves.
Yeah.
But my thing is, when the other guy was in office, Obama, everything he did was wrong, but everything this guy does is right. And it's like, like you said, they try to make you believe.
You meant that as a hypothetical metaphor thing.
Yes.
Okay, just so we're clear. He is not saying Obama did everything wrong. He's saying Trump is saying Obama did everything wrong.
And the Trump supporters saying everything that he did is wrong. But it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, you could be a president for 4 years, but you still got to clean up from that last president of 8.
Exactly.
No matter who you are. So some of these things that's in power is in power because of the last president.
Because of Obama.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
100%.
Another president, he can have 4 years or 8 years, and his things don't come in for another 4 to 8 years.
Correct.
So it's kind of like people just need to educate themselves a little bit more to see what's going on. And that's the thing, education. Because I feel like a lot of these people that supporting certain causes is very uneducated. And if you sit there and you educate yourself on some things and you read a couple books, you'll find out what it really is, you know? And I could go on for this for days
but we gotta end it.
You gotta end it because it's like, that's why we stay away from that subject here, because it's just too juicy all the time.
We're passionate. We know what we believe in. With that being said, we're going to end the show for you today. This is the End Zone. I'm Craig.
Your boy Ace.
And have a good night.